Well, here we are, the basics of poker. Now this is an introduction to the game of poker from a professional perspective. And there's so much to poker, we can't fit it all in a video like this, and just take our word for it that even though I'm going to go over some stuff that sounds kind of specific, when it comes to poker, you can do anything that you want. You can make up home games, you could be someone that decided to create a game that people have never seen, and it could end up in casinos. There's so many different variations of the game of poker. We're going to get into the stuff that's more common. My name's Mark Shumsker, this is truepokerdealer.com, and here we go. Well, a part of me hopes this is your first time ever seeing poker. It's kind of fun for me. Going over the basics I don't get to do very often, especially in the industry. This right here is a deck, 52 cards. It's your standard deck. This is what poker is played with. It's best 5 cards wins. Really that simple. It's kind of a simple game to get used to, and then it takes a long time to really understand. I'm going to go over the hand rankings so that everybody can understand really what beats what, and you can kind of take it home with you. It goes high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, straight, flush, full house, 4 of a kind, and then a straight flush, with the highest straight flush being the royal flush. You've probably heard some of those terms before, maybe not. Now within that, the rankings of the individual cards goes ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, tray, deuce, which is 3 and 2 in poker terms. So the worst of those hands, the one that's at the very bottom, is the high card hand. That means that no card has any real connection that's significant to poker with any of the others. And they're 5-card poker hands, meaning that there's no such thing as a poker hand that doesn't have 5 cards, and they all count. So when you're comparing high card hands, you would compare the highest of the cards first and then work your way down from there. So a high card hand with an ace in it would beat a high card hand with a king in it that didn't have an ace in it. And if 2 of them have an ace in it, then you go to the next one and it goes all the way down. So with pairs, it's kind of the same thing. The highest pair beats the lowest pair. But what if 2 people have the same pair? Say 2 people have 6s. Well, then you'd look at the other 3 cards, and that's why I said that all 5 cards are significant. When you look at the other 3 cards, say one person had 6s with an ace, king, jack, and another person had 6s with a king, 7, deuce. Well, the 6s with the ace would beat the 6s with the king. And some people call that ace and that king the kicker of the hand. That's what that is. Next we have 2 pair. Oh, and that kicker concept, before I get into 2 pair, that kicker concept applies to all poker hands. Basically, you could think of a high card hand as a bunch of kickers. You could think of a 2 pair hand with a kicker as a kicker. It applies a lot. I'm not going to talk about it when I compare those other hands though, but it does matter. So 2 pair, that's where I was. 2 pair is just 2 pairs. Aces and 4s, kings and queens. Now aces and 4s would actually beat kings and queens because in 2 pair hands, you look at the highest of the pair before you compare any other pairs within that. It's not like kings and queens combined have a higher value. Once you see that there's aces in the aces and 4s and that the other one just has kings, you don't care what else it has because aces and 4s will win. Next you've got 3 of a kind. Just the better 3 of a kind is going to beat the worst 3 of a kind. 3 6s beats 3 5s. We went over that one quick, huh? Oh well. Next, a straight. That's going to be 5 cards that are all sequential. What do you mean by that? Well, first of all, 5 cards is the important part of that. Some people don't get that when they first start out. Something like 8 7 6 5 4, that would be a straight. That would beat 7 6 5 4 tray. It's important to understand the highest straight wins. Yes, you can tie if you both have an 8 high straight. That's the shorthand way to describe 8 7 6 5 4, 8 high straight. Next we would go to a flush. A flush is 5 cards of the same suit. Say that they're all clubs. Now just like a high card hand, a flush, if you're comparing it to another flush, is just going to depend what the individual cards are. That's how you determine which one wins. Next we've got full houses. That's a 3 of a kind with a pair. That's a clever name, isn't it? Not really, but it's okay. We've got 3 of a kind and a pair, and the 3 of a kind part is going to be the most important part of that. So 3 9s and 2 7s is going to beat 3 8s and 2 aces. Think about that. Next we've got 4 of a kind. Simply put, 4 6s would beat 4 5s. 4 of a kind. Very simple. And the best of the best is the straight flush. 5-4 tray deuce ace could be a straight, and if they're all hearts, then that would be a straight flush. And notice that an ace can be low and high for straights. It's interesting. The highest of the straight flushes is the royal flush. That's the ace, king, queen, jack, 10. And they have to be all the same suit. That's what makes it the straight flush.